We're here today with World War II Navy veteran Ernie Andrus. Thank you for being here, Ernie. Ernie has crossed the United States one time from the West Coast to the East Coast, and he is on his way back from the East Coast back to the West Coast. So he stopped in today to talk to us about his mission, his journey, and his life, in general. So welcome.
Well, you're welcome. My name is Ernie Andrus. Born in Kansas, lived most of my life in Los Angeles area. Joined the Navy in Los Angeles as soon as the war broke out. I was cruising the streets of Los Angeles with my buddy, picking up chicks, my Model A roaster, and a radio came on and said Pearl Harbor had just been bombed.
Right.
So I looked at my buddy and I says, "Where's Pearl Harbor?" He says, "I don't know. I think we're at war. Let's go join the Navy."
Okay. And then, so you served in the Navy in World War II, and then you served on a ship that you now are working towar's permanently memorializing.
The first part of the war, I served on a, we call it an AP, and that's troop transport, because I was hospital corps.
Okay.
So we take troops overseas and bring the wounded back. After a few trips to that, I went out to New Caledonia in the South Pacific. I took a merchant marine ship back out there, and then I got aboard the LST, landing ship tank.
Okay.
We call them large slow target. But then we did the island hopping, taking all the islands back away from the Japanese.
Okay. So let's talk about, I know you have, you were very proud of the work you did in the war, and all of, I'm sure, your fellow servants in the war. And now, today, you are sort of on this mission to raise money for the restoration of that ship. So tell us about that and why you started that, and what's going on with your journey here.
I joined the LST Association. Okay. And we started looking for an LST, for a memorial, and there was none left. Out of 1,051 that were built, there was just none left. So about 10 years of looking, one of my shipmates spotted some over in Greece. Okay. Because in 1964, the United States gave a bunch of ships to the Greeks to rebuild their elite navy. So they were getting ready to scrap them. They said they're obsolete in 1999. So we went over to see if we could get one. They said, "Well, you gave it to us, we'll give it back to you." Okay. And so we went over and we spent about 4 months making it seaworthy, cleaning it up, replacing all the parts and repairing everything. And then after fighting our red tape here in the United States, we finally was able to, we just took off. In fact, the State Department wouldn't let us go. The Coast Guard advised against it, said it was impossible. They couldn't bring that old ship back. And we knew that the young people couldn't do it because they needed their computers. But us old guys knew how to do it. So we just sailed as a pirate ship. We brought it on into Mobile. Nobody else was going to let us in, but Mobile said, "Welcome, come on in." Okay.
And how long did that take? I mean, the trip itself, the actual trip?
We went from the Isle of Crete over to Athens just overnight. Made it pretty good. From Athens to Gibraltar took us 13 days because this old ship was everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Right, so it wasn't like you just got in and you sailed right to Mobile.
Everything was going wrong. The time we got to Gibraltar, we knew what had to be fixed. And the people in Gibraltar were great. They said, "You guys go out and enjoy yourselves, and you do some sightseeing." He says, "We'll send a crew in and fix everything for you."
Oh, good.
So anyhow, it took another 29 days to get from Gibraltar to Mobile.
The journey.
And we signed up 70 men to start with, but we started losing them over the years because all the red tape it took to get everything going. We were down to 29 men.
when you came into Mobile.
In fact, I wasn't even on it. I had to get off in Gibraltar because of busting a vein in my foot. And I got back on it when it pulled into Mobile.
So it's here now.
It is in Evansville, Indiana now.
In the United States.
Yeah, and we take it around to different ports. This year they took it down to, I was out running, so I was on it last year, but this year I was out running, so they took it down to Tennessee and Alabama.
So how did you come up with the idea to do a cross-country run to make money to help keep your ship
actually,
restored?
I heard about a friend of mine was telling me about a guy from Great Britain that was running across every country. And when he came through Prescott, Arizona, he put him up overnight there. And I just thought, gee, that sounds like something fun to do.
Right.
So actually, when I did my first 200-mile relay, I was 88 years old and nobody my age had done it, so I got a lot of attention, and I thought, gee, if an 88-year-old man doing a relay gets this much attention, how about a 90-year-old man running coast to coast? Maybe I can raise enough money to take this ship back to Normandy for a D-Day memorial.
Yes.
I talked to the skipper and he said, it'll never happen. I said, I can try.
Right.
So I just been trying to raise the money. I've raised quite a bit for them, but never enough to get it back to Normandy.
So that you've already come across the country once, because you stopped in and visited us once before.
I started when I was 90 years old.
Okay.
I finished one day after my 93rd birthday. And then after a couple of years of being bored, I decided to go back the other way. So I'm 96 now and heading back for California.
So how long does it take you to cross the country, generally?
Well, it took me two years and 10 months. And I took 7 weeks off for different things. I'm taking no time off now because I'm not running the distance anymore. I'll be 100 years old by the time I finish.
So how can, you're raising money, and how does that work? How can people help you with your cause?
When people come, I like people to come run with me because, like I say, mostly I was doing this for the fun of it. Sure. That's what's fun, meeting all my old friends that have coming across, and they make donations. And I have my book, Bare Feet to Running Shoes.
So let's talk
it's
a
an
little bit
autobiography.
About the book. Okay.
And if they make a nice donation, I autograph a book for them. Or now we have shirts. And then I have a website, coast2coastruns.com.
Okay.
It's using number 2.
Right.
And you can always go on there and make donations. You can either sponsor me or make a donation to the ship.
Okay, and I also noticed that you have your Facebook page where people can keep up with your runs that you do and find out where you're going to be the next day. Yeah,
I post before and after every run.
Okay.
I never know for sure where to tell them to get onto Facebook because there's 3 of them. And the one I'm maxed out with 5,000. They only allow me 5,000 friends.
I see.
But you can still get on there
and see what's going on.
You can see what's going on.
Okay, so which one is that?
I know.
Is that Ernest Andrus?
I think it's Ernest. There's 2 Ernest Andruses. There's somebody put open another one for me.
And then I believe.
But it is an Ernest Andrus something.
Okay. So what will we learn about you in your book, Barefoot to Running Shoes?
Well, it's all the way from my birth right up until now.
Okay. Any particular fun stories that stand out in your mind that you'd like to share?
Well, people are always asking me how long I've been running. And so I tell them that my mother said I stood up at 8 months and I didn't walk, I ran.
So you've been running all your life.
So I
learned
to walk when I was 40 because my second wife kept telling me to slow down.
So tell us some of your favorite things about these cross-country trips.
Okay, I've met some wonderful people, a lot more good people in this world than there is bad. And that's all I've met is good people, and thousands of them. And it's just been all fun for me. And that's why I decided to do it again, because all the pleasures in life have dwindled away, and the one thing I still like to do is run. And even though I don't run as well anymore, I run slower, I run shorter distance, but it's still fun.
Right. So tell me this. I know that you kind of touched on why it's so dear to your heart, but tell us about your kind of connection with the ship and the people you served with, and you know, why it's so important to you?
Well,
to do
I
this?
think almost any sailor that had served on a ship, they love the ship. It's like a person to you. You know, in fact, the Greeks, the only reason being able to get this, they don't believe in sinking a ship. It's they say it has a soul. And it just means a lot to you. I know we call her the Great Lady, you know.
And ultimately, tell people what you would like to see happen to the ship.
I would like to see it go back to Normandy for a D-Day memorial and come back, but I could bring it back. I don't want to leave it there.
Right.
Right now, they said the Coast Guard won't let us take it out into the ocean, and so we just take it up and down the rivers. So they decided when they replaced the plumbing, they did it with the modern stuff. That would never hold up on the Atlantic. So there's no way, I don't think we could take it as is across the Atlantic on its own power.
So it needs more.
We'd have to have it hauled over and
Sure.
back. We could put it in the water over there and beach it where it beached, you know, on D-Day, then haul it back, unless we redo the whole plumbing.
Right. Well, is there anything else that you want to share about your journey, or how people can get involved to help? Anything at all that you want to touch on?
Well, outside of coming and run with me, I can always use support. You could go on to coastruns.com and get all the information there and make donations if you like. You can even order a book or a shirt.
Okay. All right. Well, we thank you so much for, number one, stopping in to see us today in the middle of your trip. And it's great to see you in Saint Tammany for a second time, for sure. And we encourage everyone to just get out and meet up with Ernie. Visit Coast to Coast Runs, coastruns.com, and you can make a donation and help Ernie with his cause. So thank you so much for being here.
All right, and thank you for having me.